After 20 years of working with wealthy clients, I've noticed something strange. The people who talk the least about money often have the most of it. Ever wonder why? Think about it. The quiet millionaire next door. The business owner who still drives an old truck. The retired couple with a 7-figure portfolio living in the same house they bought in the 90s. They're not just being humble, they're being smart. Getting rich can change your life. But telling people about it, that can ruin everything you worked so hard to build. Here's a truth most financial advisors won't tell you: when the money finally shows up, it doesn't just bring freedom. It brings attention, pressure, and people who want a piece of it. What you thought would bring peace can quickly turn into stress. I've seen it many times. People spend 30 years building wealth, then lose control in just a few months. All because they made one mistake: they let people know. Today, I'm going to share 8 honest reasons why staying quiet about your money might be the smartest financial choice you ever make. Not just for privacy, but to protect your peace of mind, your safety, and even your relationships. Look around. Why does the truly wealthy person at the country club seem calm and content, while the guy flaunting the flashy watch always seems anxious? That's not a coincidence. One of them understands something the other doesn't. Before we dive in, take a second to drop a comment saying, "I choose wealth over flash." Because making that mental shift is your first step toward true financial independence. Now, let's get into the first reason why silence might be your best financial strategy. Reason 1. You become a target. Getting rich changes everything, but telling everyone about it might be the biggest mistake you can make. When people find out you have money, you don't just gain comfort, you become a target. And it's not just thieves you have to worry about. You'll face things like fake lawsuits, scams, and endless requests for favors. Suddenly, what took you years to build becomes a magnet for problems. Think about those NFL players who had their homes robbed during away games. That wasn't random. Criminals knew exactly where to go, what to take, and when no one would be home. As one FBI agent put it, they're not after just anyone, they're after the wealthy, because it's easy to find out where they live and what they own. That's why silent money is the safest money. It's no accident that billionaires like Warren Buffett live in simple houses and drive ordinary cars. They know that every flashy post, every show of luxury, is like giving strangers a map to their front door. Every time you share a location, a photo of something expensive, or even just talk about your wealth, you lower your security. And it's not just strangers. Sometimes it's the people around you, neighbors, coworkers, casual acquaintances. They notice more than you think. One innocent comment can spread fast, and suddenly people know more about your life than they should. The best protection isn't a fancy alarm system. It's staying low-key. Ask yourself, is showing off your new car or talking about your investment really worth the risk? That moment of attention could cost you more than you think. Smart people know that keeping quiet isn't about being paranoid, it's about being wise. Here's the irony: the more you protect your wealth by staying silent, the more likely it is to grow. You make clearer decisions, feel less pressure, and stay in control. But even if you avoid the physical risks, there's another danger: people who don't want your money, but want what it represents. That attention brings a whole new kind of pressure. Reason 2. You lose negotiating power. Here's a lesson wealthy people often learn the hard way: the moment others know you have money, you lose leverage. It affects everything: service providers, business deals, even how the government treats you. Call a plumber for a $200 job, and if he sees a luxury car in your driveway or a high-end kitchen, that job might suddenly cost $500. You're not paying more for better service, you're paying more because you can. This wealth tax shows up everywhere: at car dealerships, with contractors, insurance agents, even during home appraisals. One investment banker told me he keeps a modest wardrobe and drives an old truck when negotiating big purchases. Why? Because it can save thousands. In business, it's the same. Flashing success makes the other side assume you can afford to give more. I've seen million-dollar deals fall apart just because someone couldn't resist showing off. Even government agencies take notice. The more visible your wealth, the more likely you are to face audits, tax scrutiny, or property reassessments. Warren Buffett doesn't show off when buying companies, and that modest image helps him close better deals. Revealing your wealth is like playing poker with your cards face up. You lose power, money, and sometimes, even peace of mind. Reason 3. You attract fake relationships. The third brutal truth about showing your wealth. It changes how people see you, and rarely in a good way. That old friend suddenly wants to reconnect. A distant cousin reaches out after years of silence. But behind the friendly messages often lies an unspoken question: can they help me out? Once your wealth becomes visible, your relationships become unclear. You can't always tell who's genuine and who's drawn to your money. This goes for friends, family, and especially dating. Take Tom, a software developer who sold his company for millions. Before the sale, dating was hit or miss. After the news went public, everything changed. Suddenly, he was seen as husband material. One woman even admitted she Googled his net worth before their second date. "I felt like an investment, not a person," he told me. These relationships come wrapped in charm, compliments, and interest. But some people are watching, waiting for an opportunity. And when the money slows down, or you say no, they vanish. The emotional toll is real. You begin to question everyone's motives. Is your friend inviting you to dinner because they enjoy your company, or because they expect you to pay? Is your sibling asking for advice, or access? This is why many wealthy people stick to the same small group of friends they had before the money. Because once your wealth is on display, it becomes nearly impossible to know who's there for you, and who's there for what you represent. And that kind of doubt can lead to a loneliness that no amount of money can solve. But the impact on your personal life is just the start. When people know you have money, your finances face a whole new kind of threat. Reason 4. You awaken envy in everyone. Reason 4 is a tough truth: showing your wealth can awaken envy, even in people who care about you. Friends, coworkers, even family members may start to see your success not with pride, but with quiet comparison. It's rarely mean-spirited, it's just human nature. They see your progress and think, "Why not me?" That's when the subtle jabs begin, sarcastic comments like, "Must be nice," or "Some of us still have to work." Over time, this changes the tone of relationships. You begin to watch your words, downplay your achievements, and avoid topics that might stir resentment. Success, instead of bringing joy, starts to feel heavy. James, who built a successful gym chain, told me he eventually stopped talking about his business with friends just to keep the peace. The more visible your rise, the more it can trigger insecurity in others, no matter how hard you worked for it. From new cars to vacations, every sign of success risks turning genuine connections into distant ones. This is why so many lottery winners lose friends, not just because they say no to handouts, but because the relationship dynamic quietly shifts. The wisest wealthy people learn that keeping things quiet isn't just about protecting assets, it's about protecting the relationships that matter most. The fifth reason to keep your wealth quiet could save you from significant emotional drain. When people know you have money, they often start seeing you as their personal bank, and it usually starts subtly. A small request, a heartfelt story, a one-time opportunity that needs fast funding. If you're generous, and many successful people are, you might say yes more than you should. But once you finally say no, you're suddenly the villain. People forget you have limits, too. What felt like a win slowly turns into a constant stream of emotional and financial pressure. I've seen families torn apart, lifelong friendships ruined, not because of a lack of love, but because money changed the dynamic. Take Jack Whittaker, the Powerball winner who gave generously to others. Years later, he faced addiction, legal trouble, and loss. Before his death, nearly broke, he said, I wish I'd torn that ticket up. His story is a warning. Generosity without boundaries is a recipe for destruction. You can help others, but only if you protect your own peace and finances first. Sometimes the kindest, healthiest thing you can do is say no. Keeping your wealth quiet isn't selfish, it's what allows you to give on your terms, not under pressure. And if you're feeling the pressure to keep up appearances, that's the next trap to avoid. Reason 6, you fall into the appearance trap. The sixth reason to keep your wealth private is subtle but deeply damaging: the pressure to look rich once people know you are. It starts small, a luxury car, a bigger house, but each visible upgrade becomes an invisible obligation. A fancy car today means you can't show up in a modest one tomorrow without raising eyebrows. That dream house comes with never-ending bills, cleaners, landscapers, maintenance, and a constant need to furnish and update. Soon, you're not living for yourself, you're maintaining an image. Even simple things like where you eat or what you wear become calculated performances to meet others' expectations. Mike, a tech executive, once said he felt trapped in a life of things he didn't enjoy, just to avoid the appearance of failure. The fear of judgment prevents smart choices, downsizing, taking a break, or simplifying life, because of how it might look. What should be financial freedom turns into financial theater. You spend your energy upholding a persona instead of living on your own terms. And this constant performance is draining, mentally, financially, and emotionally. Ironically, the people who enjoy real freedom are often those who stay quiet about their wealth. They live below their means, not to hide, but to stay free from expectations. Because true success isn't about proving you're rich, it's about never needing to. Reason 7. You lose focus on what really matters. The seventh reason to keep your wealth private isn't about others, it's about you. When you focus too much on showing success, chasing status, or keeping up appearances, you can lose sight of why you wanted wealth in the first place. Was it to feel free, have peace of mind, spend more time with loved ones? Those real goals often get replaced by anxiety, pressure, and constant comparison. You end up living to impress instead of living fully. The happiest wealthy people I know aren't showing off, they're enjoying life's simple moments, quiet mornings, family dinners, weekends without obligations, and deep, unhurried conversations. These moments don't need an audience, they just need your presence. Robert, a man who built and sold multiple companies, said it hit him after a heart attack at 48. He had the yachts, homes, and luxury lifestyle, but realized he hadn't had dinner with his kids in months. "I was chasing the wrong things," he said. That's the hidden cost of flaunting wealth, it distracts you from what truly matters. You can be rich in dollars but poor in joy. No amount of status can fill the emptiness that comes from living for others' approval. In the end, what matters most isn't what you own, it's what owns your attention. And sometimes, staying quiet about your wealth is the best way to stay connected to the life you actually want. The eighth and final reason to keep your wealth private is that visible success often steals your peace of mind. When people see your wealth, they also place silent expectations on you, to always pay, always have answers, and never struggle. Each display, whether it's a new car or a bigger home, adds pressure, not just prestige. And once you've set that image, it's hard to step back. Saying no or admitting difficulty becomes nearly impossible because people assume you're always fine. David, a restaurant owner, shared how during the pandemic, his visible success made others dismiss his struggles. They couldn't believe someone with a big house could be hurting. That's the price of exposure, judgment without understanding. True financial freedom should bring rest, not the burden of keeping up appearances. In the end, wealth is most powerful when it's quiet, because what good is success if you can't enjoy it in peace? If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not miss our future uploads. See you in the next video.